Auto pedestrian accidents are on the rise among teens, and according to officials with Safe Kids Coalition, it's all thanks to distractions. The city's moved into stage 3 of its drought contingency plan because of this guy behind me, the Guadalupe River. As long as the river stays low, so are the chances of getting to water your lawn or getting served a glass of water at a restaurant without asking for it. The rain isn't just helping farmers. Deputies say the only reason they caught the suspect was because of the weather, as his truck got stuck in the mud as he was trying to get away. Now here's the proof. These are the tire marks the suspect left behind. Inside the spa, investigators found evidence of prostitution, including birth certificates, cash, and more than 350 condoms. Good morning, Chelsea. The sun has yet to rise here at Fort Hood, but some light has been shed on yesterday's mass shooting at the Texas Army post, the second it's seen in less than 5 years. Now, Fort Hood officials held a press conference late last night, releasing more details on the shooting and insight about the shooter, 34-year-old Ivan Lopez, an Army specialist. Lopez served 4 months in Iraq in 2011 and was currently in the process of being diagnosed with PTSD. He was taking medication for depression and anxiety, so all signs mental illness may be a part of all of this. We also know he was married and had a family living locally. As far as the victims, many are at Scott and White Memorial Hospital in nearby Temple. Now, many are still wondering why he did this and why it happened here again. Fort Hood officials are holding a press conference later this afternoon, hopefully to answer some of those questions, and we'll be here to get them. Reporting live at Fort Hood, Chelsea, I'm Rissa Shaw. Back to you. Amanda, we are live at the Victoria Livestock Show, watching kids bring home the bacon, literally.
Amanda, the community has been generous so far to the men and women who serve us every day, who are now serving them dinner tonight. Now, so far, we do not have a total for you. We are still wrapping up the event. The officers are still out here serving people dinner, bussing tables, and they are getting tipped. Now, last year, they raised $2,000 in just one night at Texas Roadhouse in Victoria, $90,000 at Texas Roadhouse statewide. What do you think is harder, policing the streets or policing Texas Roadhouse?
I would say they're about the same, but this is pretty difficult. I couldn't do it every day.
That's true, and you won't have to. They're just doing it for tonight, folks.
They beat the Heat on Sunday night, 104 to 87, so everybody's just been buzzing, bursting for days with all the excitement, waiting to see their Spurs. And we have some very excited fans here at Cafe Olay. Hi guys, how you doing?
Great.
Hey, so what are you guys doing here tonight?
Championship parade, baby.
Now, we heard they were all sold out reservation-wise. When did you guys call and get this prime time spot?
Beginning of the playoffs, of course.
You've had it waiting this long. Well, you guys are loyal fans. You guys knew from the beginning. It was supposed to be about 88 degrees today, folks. It is 93 degrees here right now. Very hot, very humid, but it's not stopping people from coming out. About 100,000 people were supposed to come out. They're estimating that that's going to double to about 200,000 people. Already you can see thousands of people lining the Riverwalk.
I do not want to do it until I talk to my wife.
John Florida repeated that statement 9 times to officers, trying to issue a sobriety test on the night he was arrested for intoxication manslaughter.
It's frustrating, right?
A year and a half later, we caught him talking to his wife during his trial, which started this week. On Friday, jurors saw dash cam video taken the night of his arrest. In it, Florida is seen swaying, slurring, and even cursing.
No, I mean, you got a gun in there, and we don't want to, You can go with me, but I give a what the what.
On May 17, 2013, a Friday night, Florida and a friend went to Tokyo Grill and ordered more than $200 worth of alcohol. After dropping his friend off, he hit a car, then ran a red light at Mockingbird in Maine, crashing into a green Chevy Suburban. 64-year-old Paula Narsassian was inside and died.
To give you an idea of just how badly the Suburban was damaged, I'm standing in the driver's seat. If the Suburban were able to turn on, I could put the key in the ignition from right here.
No one occupying the space, which the driver was, which is now gone, could survive.
The damage caused, the fact that Florida has already pleaded guilty to reckless manslaughter in the case, and the dash cam video are what prosecutors are banking on.
On video, inappropriate, jovial attitude, having just killed someone, I think that hurts.
Florida's defense attorney, Stephen Seawall, would not yet comment on the case. Florida's side of the story starts next week when the defense presents its case. Reporting in Victoria, Rissa Shaw, your hometown news. From rail to shale, Smiley is turning its frown upside down. The tiny Texas city with railroad roots was derailed a bit when trains stopped moving through. But now they're getting back on track with a new industry, oil and gas.
We used to be a little sleepy town, and now we're kind of waking up.
The Eagle Ford Shale is awakening Smiley, pushing its population from 500 to around 800 in recent years. But with growth comes growing pains. While there's been an increase in bodies in business, there's also been an increase in traffic and people not following the city's laws.
We see the need now for trying to enforce our ordinances, and we need somebody with the authority to do that.
This somebody is a part-time city marshal who will be on patrol to keep the city under control.
Law enforcement is 24/7, but in terms of the compensation, and that's something we want to keep in mind for the citizens here of Smiley. But we also want to secure and make this area safe, and not only just for the citizens, but for the people passing through.
Doris Caruso owns a cafe in town and says she's never had anything happen to her business or home in the past, but believes creating a police force is a proactive move.
I think it makes you feel safer. You know, it takes a while before anybody gets here, you know, from Nixon or Gonzales.
Smiley officials are currently interviewing several local certified law enforcement officers for the job. They've also approached Gonzales County commissioners about possibly donating a used vehicle to help get the ball rolling.
The sheriff's office will be trading in vehicles for new vehicles, and now we'll be putting it back on the agenda to sell one of those vehicles that was going to be a trade-in to the city of Smiley at a greatly reduced rate. Hopefully they'll get a lot of good use out of it still.
Reporting in Gonzales County, I'm Rissa Shaw, your hometown news. The sign is flashing open, but this spa is closed for business. Now covered with crime scene tape, police put their foot down on the Victoria Foot Spa, busting the business for allegedly selling more than just massages to who they say is a large number of people.
Our investigation does lend us a number, but that probably is not anywhere close to the total number of individuals that have used this location.
Used allegedly for prostitution.
I have not seen this occur in Victoria in the 2.5 years that I've been police chief.
A 14-month-long investigation ended Tuesday afternoon when a coalition of 11 law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, U.S. Marshals, ICE, and local police, raided the spa with search warrants. Authorities were tipped off about the spa's dirty dealings after receiving complaints from customers that employees were engaging in acts of prostitution. But it doesn't stop there or here. Police believe the business goes beyond Victoria and even America. It could be tied to an international human trafficking ring.
We do know it's a pervasive issue in today's society, and this is our way of demonstrating to the community that the human trafficking issue is not going to be tolerated here in our community.
The raid resulted in 2 employees inside being detained, but are the employees criminals or victims themselves? That's what police are now trying to find out.
The initial charges would be dependent upon what we recover evidence-wise.
And if the evidence points to them as suspects, any charges they face will be determined from there. Reporting in Victoria, Rissa Shaw, your hometown news. A son in prison. Not every mother's dream, but it's reality for Terry Hernandez. Her son, who wishes to remain anonymous, is an inmate at the John Connolly unit in Kennedy, Texas. Even though he's locked up, Terry doesn't believe her son should be treated like what she calls an animal.
Even animals have water and everything. They're not, they treated them like they're just nothing.
He's been writing her letters, and last weekend she went to visit him to hear it from him herself.
They had no running water. They were giving them contaminated water. People were so thirsty that they were drinking it, and they were falling out everywhere, because it's contaminated, and they have no means of boiling water. And they were told to use the bathroom in trash and newspapers and throwing them in a bag, And plus, they were having to urinate in the sinks so it wouldn't smell so bad because the toilets wouldn't flush.
On Sunday and Monday of last week, 2 water wells went out at the city of Kennedy, which supplies water to the prison. But the city says no one saw a loss in service.
Since the wells went offline, we have maintained adequate water storage and pressure. We were never without water.
But according to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the city issued the prison a boil water notice as a result of reduced water pressure and possible water contamination. The city says that's not the case.
As far as a water boil notice, is there one issued for the city of Kennedy?
It was never necessary to issue one.
Has there been issued one to the jail?
It was never necessary to issue one.
News Center 25 has obtained a copy of that notice Patton says never went out. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality also says they did not require Kennedy to issue a notice because there was no loss of pressure or threat to public health. The 2 wells in question became operational on Saturday and Sunday, but cannot go online until tests are done to ensure the water is not contaminated. At least 3 have failed. But the TDCJ says the wells did pass tests on Friday, and they're waiting on the water boil notice, the one the city and TCEQ says doesn't exist, to be removed.
So just understand, the jail isn't getting this water, correct?
No one's getting that water. Those wells, until we get clear sample results back from the lab, are disconnected from the system.
TDCJ says inmates are being supplied drinking water through a 6,000-gallon water tank truck, but the prison says they're being supplied water through water bottles. Either way, in the scorching South Texas sun in a facility with no air conditioning, what happens when the water runs out?
I was told by the warden that they were giving them at least two to three bottles a day of water, which is, you know, they're having to use that. Some of them use that to take shower with because they don't want to use the contaminated water. So, you know, they don't have enough water to pass around. They shouldn't. To me, they just shouldn't be open.
The warden's office won't tell us how many bottles of water inmates are being allowed per day, but that they buy more cases when they run low. The TDCJ says they're not being supplied water bottles, but instead, through the water tank they bring in, prisoners drink from coolers all around the facility whenever they want, and the tank gets refilled every 3 days. Both admit, though, the unit has taken water restriction measures like force flushing toilets, plus inmates can't shower until those water tests come back clear. And according to Terry, her inmate son says it's becoming unsanitary.
You know, they have to live with the smell and the feces everywhere, and, you know, it's just not. It's not normal.
An abnormal situation, she's worried, could turn dangerous.
What they're doing is getting them more upset, more aggressive, and they're going to start, you know, fighting. You know, and it happens. It happens in a place like that.